I would categorize the word habit as a cultural buzzword right now. Like, oh, have good habits, break bad habits. Like you hear habits all around social media, culture, whatever, but no one really knows like what a habit is. There's a difference between a habit and a behavior. A behavior is something you just simply, it's an action you engage in, but a habit, I like to phrase habits as your go-to default mode. When you don't have to think or you don't have to consciously operate your brain, your body's going to resort to.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Holo Health podcast, where we exist to bring awareness to the idea that our health is more than just physical. We believe that there are several parts of us that make up our health. Our purpose here at Holo Health is to help you become truly healthy through removing unnecessary limitations that we experience in each area of life, our body, mind, and soul. I'm one of your hosts, Trevor, and I'm really excited for today's conversation with Alex Cottingham, where we discuss 7 habits that are worth having in your life. Wherever you are, sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy today's episode. Listeners, we are back with episode 3 of season 2. I get the opportunity to sit down with CEO Alex Cottingham again. This is your co-host, Trevor, and today we have a very special treat for you. Alex, do you want to tell them what it is?
To be honest, Trevor, I have no idea what you're referring to. What's our special treat?
Alex, I'm disappointed, but our special treat is we're going to be telling the listeners 7 habits that we believe are worth having.
Oh, yes, that is a special treat.
Oh, yeah. You know a little bit about maybe a couple of these habits, Alex.
The listeners are in for a special treat. You're right.
Yes, they are. So I want to start off with a quote, listeners, from probably Alex and I as one of our favorite authors and someone that we look up to in the vein of habits. And his quote says, "Goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress." And that's author James Clear. We are big believers in habits. And as we mentioned in episode 1 and briefly touched on it in episode 2, Alex has written a book called the Holo State, and that's essentially where he put pen to paper and all of his thoughts on living a truly healthy life and habits that help in the pursuit thereof. So what we're going to do today, folks, is we're going to talk about these 7 habits, and we believe each of these are keystone to the pursuit of a truly healthy life. And we believe that there is importance in each of them. And I have Alex on as he originally came up with these 7 habits, put these thoughts and ideas down. And obviously we have been built to this point. So we know that we rise to the level of our goals and fall to the level of our systems. So we want to help you listeners build a system that is simple, sustainable, and you can have that be a consistent part of your life. So Alex, would love for you to really just kick us off and talk about what these 7 habits are and touch on some important pieces to each of these.
Yeah, I appreciate that setup, and I'm really excited about this. Habits I would categorize the word habit as a cultural buzzword right now. Like, oh, have good habits, break bad habits. Like you hear habits all around social media, culture, whatever, but no one really knows like what a habit is. There's a difference between a habit and a behavior. A behavior is something you just simply, it's an action you engage in, but a habit, I like to phrase habits as your go-to default mode. When you don't have to think or you don't have to consciously operate your brain, your body's going to resort to these actions. It's the things that you solidify into your what's the word I'm looking for? Into your CNS, into your brain, because your brain is plastic. So all a habit are the things you regularly engage in. And the cool thing about these habits are what you regularly engage in shapes who you become. So we're talking about really making this more of a lifestyle, not like a fad or not like this 30-day challenge. That's not what this is at all.
Yeah.
Where these came from is over the past 2 or 3 years, as I've looked into the different facets of health, I pretty much have asked the question, what are these people consistently doing? Like, what is their rule of life? What is their new rhythm and operating mode? And honestly, I tried to chisel as much as I could away, and it honestly came down to these 7. And what's cool, I like the word keystone. Keystone habit is what you said earlier, because all 7 of these are keystone habits. And if you don't know what a keystone habit is a pivotal habit that has a lot of impact on a lot of other areas or other habits that you have. So, for example, we're going to get into these 7, but the first one is habit number 1, sleep well. And I put that as number 1 because every single area, every single biological system, down to the cell level, is impacted by your sleep. And in the book, I kind of go through all the different biological systems and what sleep actually is. But bottom line, the way I summarize habit sleep well is to do your best, you need your rest because every biological system is impacted. And we kind of break down some habits, and off the cuff, the top 3 that I would encourage people with are: you need to prime your environment, you need to minimize the stimulants, and you need to have a routine. So that's a kind of like a quick 60-second answer on that.
No, habit 1 is super important. And, in the book, I really like how you describe the impact that sleep has. And all of us, if we kind of sit down and sit in that idea of how does my sleep affect my day to day, they can see how it affects their performance, maybe in the gym, at work, their conversations, their relationships with other people, their mental health with other people or themselves. The thoughts that they're having. To sleep well is paramount. And I really, one thing I've liked that we've talked about several times, Alex, is that this is first. Because if you want the pursuit of a truly healthy lifestyle, if you want that part, you gotta have the rest, because you're not optimally functioning. Your body's not performing the way it's designed to when you give it the proper rest needed.
So, Trevor, to be honest, we're going to go through quickly the next 6, but to be honest, sleeping well, this habit is probably one I get the most pushback on, because people are like, oh, I can just get 5 to 6 hours of sleep. That's fine. But I know I need to eat clean and I need to decrease stress and stay connected to the community. Honestly, sleeping is the one I get the most pushback on. I'm not going to argue for it. This is not a sleep episode, but let me just give you 3 quick statistics and then we'll keep moving. Okay. 1, how it impacts the cardiorespiratory system. This is science. This is research. This is not me. I'm just relaying the facts. Okay. During daylight savings time, when we lose an hour of sleep, globally, there's a 24% increase in heart attacks the very next day. The opposite is true in the fall. When we gain an hour, there's a 21% reduction of heart attacks the very next day. Number 2, sleep in the digestive system. When we are sleep deprived or consistently getting less than 6 to 7 hours of sleep, your body makes more ghrelin and less leptin. Ghrelin is your appetite hormone. Your leptin is your full hormone. Without ample sleep, your body produces more ghrelin, less leptin, resulting in eating more than necessary. People who are sleep deprived actually are more overweight. And lastly, your immune system, when you get less than 7 hours of sleep after one night, your immune system decreases by 70%. You are more likely to get any kind of cold, virus, bacteria after one poor night's of sleep. Sleeping well is the backbone to a truly healthy life. I can continue, but I'll stop.
No, Alex, those are great statistics and just a few listeners that are important and show why sleep is so paramount when it comes to healthy lifestyle and healthy habits. Alex, what's number 2, habit number 2?
Habit number 2 is eat clean. Habit number 2 is eat clean, nourishing your body with needed nutrients, but also enjoying pleasurable foods too. Because here's the thing, when it comes to a truly healthy lifestyle, there's different components: physical, mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual. If we just focused on the physical and we just focused on the nourishment part, we are restricting the relational component of food, the emotional component of food, the social and almost spiritual component of food, which there are, if we're being honest. So I really unpack some different common like food misconceptions and myths. I kind of give a framework as far as like eating clean, whole, real foods in sensible portions, minimizing like processed and artificial foods, enjoying what you do. The 80-20 principle: 80% of your foods being from the nourishment side, whole, clean, real foods, high in rich vitamins, minerals, all that stuff. But then also the 20% gives you margin to enjoy that. So if you go out and eat I don't know, pizza and wings with some friends, you can do that because there's more to life than food, but also talking about how food impacts the other areas. So eating clean, you need to nourish your body with those needed nutrients. And that's what habit number 2 is all about.
No, that's it. It's super important. Listeners, if you want a little bit of insight or some tips or advice on eating clean, go check out our most recent content on Instagram. We've been featuring that there. Alex, that was grand. Talk about habit number 3, personally my favorite, but maybe not yours.
Habit number 3, move often. So this is all about incorporating foundational and beneficial movement on a daily basis. And I'll make a caveat here. This is not exercise often. This is move often, because we need to incorporate more functional movement throughout the day. So before we even go to across a gym or a yoga class, we need to incorporate more standing over sitting, more walks than just sitting on the couch, because our bodies are designed to move. There has been much research about a sedentary lifestyle is actually the new like smoking. I say that sitting is new smoking, because sitting is now the culturally wide or global behavior that's accepted by everybody, but it's actually deteriorating our health. That's what sitting is. So this is just talking about we need to incorporate more rhythm, more movement, more activity. So I kind of give some tips as far as omit the sit, more on the floors, stuff like that. Increasing physical activity such as operating using a standing desk, going on walks, just making more active lifestyle. And then I do kind of get into exercise and fitness and how that incorporates into this equation. But I wanted to make the differentiator that moving more is so much more important than just simply exercising, because here's why. The 60 minutes you do in the gym do not weigh the other 1,380 minutes of the week or the day that you spend outside of the gym. Because what you do in the gym should best prepare you for outside of the gym, but the minutes outside of the gym do not outweigh what you do in the gym. So you can still go to class or go to across the class or whatever, 60 minutes, but still live a sedentary lifestyle outside of that. So habit number 3, move often, incorporating more functional movement and activity throughout your day.
Listeners, you may just want to rewind like 2 minutes and then just listen to that again. That's how good that was. Alex, teeing you up for habit number 4.
Habit number 4, this one probably needs the most explanation, but to be honest, when I kind of talk about this, people like tend to lean in because it's not the first go-to habit you would think of. But honestly, Trevor, over our conversations and other conversations I've had with experts and different people, this is the one that's very critical when it comes to true health.
Right.
Habit number 4 is called increased clarity, and the subtitle is revealing one's internal state through the art of self-awareness. Because if we truly want to optimize our health, or aka live a truly healthy lifestyle, we need to know what's going on inside. Okay, we need to know the status and state of our mental health and emotional health. But so many people don't know how to do this. They aren't aware of why they do what they do, why they say what they say, why they act the way they act. And I really press in and say, hey, before we go into even removing the toxic thoughts and beliefs in our mental and emotional health, before we even go to some practical tips, we need to be aware of what's actually going on in there and be honest with ourselves. And there's a lot of tips and kind of like unpacking and research I provide there, but probably the most practical thing I encourage people to do is when you go and do something, think about something, journal something, have a conversation, make a joke, whatever. Pause and ask the question, why? Why am I really doing this? And be honest with yourself, because I could say I'm going to go to the fridge because I'm hungry, but if I actually paused and asked why, I could be honest with myself and say, oh, I'm actually going to the fridge, not because I'm hungry, but I'm going to the fridge because I need emotional comfort. And I like to tack on the word why really, because initially you can lie to yourself or deceive yourself. But if I would say, okay, I'm going to the fridge because I'm hungry, really? Okay, that kind of takes self-awareness to the next level and helps us kind of get there. So it's really increasing our inner clarity through self-awareness so that we can prohibit toxic thoughts into our mental health to begin with, so that we can make sure that what is in there is actually what needs to be in there. So that's habit number 4.
That's really good. That self-awareness. I like the way that you put that, and increasing clarity, asking why really. And I think that piggybacks really well, and you do a great job of this in the book, into habit number 5, which is decrease stress. Alex, talk a little bit more about decreasing stress and what you share in the book.
So I open up this chapter by paralleling the trends of anxiety with the onset of technology in the smartphone, because there's a common thread throughout the book as well, is because when we want to live a truly healthy life, we live in a digital age. We live in an age that our previous generations and our grandparents never had to deal with. We're learning how to live a truly healthy lifestyle in the digital age with computers and iPhones and video games, just all pervading. It's ubiquitous. So The reason I say decrease stress is in relation to this digital conversation is because ever since 2007, at the onset of the iPhone, anxiety, depression, suicide, all of those things skyrocketed off the charts. That's the same year that the smartphone came out. So I'm not saying that it's directly connected, but it is correlated because many people live with just a chronic buzz of anxiety and stress in their lives. And the truly healthy people that I know don't live like this. They learn how to minimize the stress and maximize the peace. So a lot of the chapter is about digital guardrails and boundaries with our phones and our laptops and work, but then also ways to prioritize the priorities in this season, to digitally declutter, to live with margin, to take care of yourself, to pour from an full cup rather than an empty cup. So there's ways to decrease stress here. And again, let me make this caveat. I'm not talking that this is a antidote for a actual diagnosis, an actual mental health like issue from a doctor. No. I'm just talking about the unnecessary stressors we put in our day that we can actually minimize and limit through our daily actions. So truly healthy people don't live with a chronic buzz of anxiety in their life. And that's what we're talking about, how we can minimize those.
Yeah, no, Alex, I thought that when I was reading the book, I thought it was very convicting and enlightening, both in the same vein about decreasing stress. And I really did like the parallels you put together in there, and then the other pieces that you touched on. This, I said move off to maybe my favorite, but I actually think habit number 6 is probably my favorite. I'm a big community guy. That's what we're building here at Holo Help. So habit number 6, listeners, is cultivate community. Alex, share a little bit about how you brought this one in.
Habit number 6, cultivate community. It's thriving personally by being connected relationally. One common theme or thread that you'll notice that's woven into all the habits are going back to our humanistic roots, our primal roots, basically the way we were designed. And we are both men of faith. We believe that God designed us to live an abundant life or truly healthy life in every area of our life. And the reason I say that is because we are designed to live in community. We are not designed to live in isolation. And I truly believe that the pandemic just enlightened that and brought that to the surface. And actually, I literally wrote that chapter during the pandemic while we were all isolated, living alone. And talk to any mental health professional or counselor, they said that anxiety and depression and isolation and loneliness and all of those mental health issues skyrocketed during the pandemic because people were going through so much mental, emotional, and relational turmoil. So really talking about why we are meant to live in community, because there is that subset of people that are like, I don't need to live with people. Oh, they hold me back. I'm just going to keep moving and grooving in my own lane. No. We are meant to live in community. So I give some tips about finding community if you're in a season of life that's hard, but then also going deep with the community that you live in. So that's just another pivotal habit that truly healthy people live in.
That's incredible, Alex. Listeners, I've dealt too far on the opposite end of this, thinking that lone wolf mentality is the way to go. And I promise you it's not. And so I really like this habit a lot. And it's hard to rank the habits. They're not supposed to be ranked, but this next one, man, I mean, this is why my feet hit the floor. It's a fueler. It's a motivator. It's last, but definitely not least. And go ahead, Alex, hit up habit number 7.
Habit number 7, tops the charts, is embrace purpose, connecting to something bigger and better to fill that inner void. So it's connecting something bigger and better to fill that inner void. So this is bigger than faith or religion or whatever. This is about being a means to an end. This is about giving rather than getting. It's about serving rather than being the center of your own life. And I think faith and following Jesus, and really any religion, is about that. But you can optimize habits 1 through 6 all for yourself, but then you can also be a pretty crummy person to be around. If you embrace habit number 7, embracing purpose, becoming a means to an end, you actually will top the charts and become the person that people look towards, because it's not just for you, it's for other people. It's how you can love and serve other people well. Yeah. So embracing purpose, I mean, all purpose is exactly that. It's a means to an end. What's the purpose of a shovel? It's to dig holes. It's not the shovel itself. That shovel was created to accomplish a task. And I believe we were designed to accomplish a task as well. Ultimately, one is to glorify God, but two, to love other people the way he has loved us. So whether you are a person of faith or not, we can give to people in need when there's I don't know, a World War III going on in Ukraine, or a natural disaster happens, or your neighbor needs help raking the leaves. Whatever need there is, the way I practically advise people to embrace purpose is find a need and meet it. Not a selfish need that you need. Find someone else's need, whether it's a giving need, serving need, loving need, listening need, financial need. If you find that need and meet it, you become the means to an end, giving you purpose. And that's when you go back to the old psychology course of Psych 101 in college and break out Abraham Maslow's like hierarchy of needs. At the very, very top is that self-actualization triangle, meaning you are embracing purpose. That's what that is. You're doing it for other people, and you've actually found that inner satisfaction because it's not just for you, it's for others. So that's what embracing purpose is all about.
Alex, that was very well said, sir. And listeners, those are 7 habits that we at Holo Health believe help empower us to live a truly healthy life. And I'll repeat those again. And I want to leave with Alex recapping a little bit of where do you go from here? Because they definitely could be overwhelming. But going 1 through 7, habit 1 is sleep well. Habit 2 is eat clean. Habit 3 is move often. Habit 4 is increase clarity. Habit 5 is decrease stress. Habit 6, cultivate community. And rounding out, 7th habit is embrace purpose. Alex, I'm overwhelmed. I'm a listener. These are a lot of different things. What's your advice? What do you think is a good thing to share?
Number 1, if you're a simple man like me, just go to holohealth.com and follow along. HOLOHLTH. Because actually, Trevor, to that point, you can stay up to date on practical ways to live a truly healthy life, how you can embody these 7 habits, because we actually have some pretty cool things coming down the road, how you can incorporate this into your specific journey. So stay tuned for that. But the last little like nugget or takeaway that I'd give people in context of the 7 habits is it can seem pretty confusing or complicated or a lot overwhelming when you look at, crap, I got to do all 7 of these, because to be honest, all 7 are attention to manage. Health is attention to manage, because if it was only physical or only relational or only spiritual or mental, whatever, it would be a problem to solve. We'd only have to focus on that one area, and we wouldn't have to manage the other ones. So when it comes to the 7, actually in some upcoming things that we have, Trevor, we are going to practically help people when it comes to this, but broad stroke. When it comes to the 7 habits of health, optimization is the goal, not prioritization. What do I mean by that? We want to optimize all 7. We don't want to prioritize one at the expense of the others. We're granted the 7 are chronological, the prescriptive. They are, let's focus on sleep first. And then once you have sleep down, let's go to our eating habits. Then once you feel like you have eating down, then you're going to go to your moving habits. And that's what we're going to help people do. And then you go 1 through 7. But we are not going to focus on our sleeping habits at the expense of our relational habits, at the expense of our eating habits, at the expense of our faith habits or purpose habits, whatever those are. So we want to optimize to live a balanced, truly healthy lifestyle. And that's what it really means to have the essence of managing that tension, not prioritizing it to the detriment of others. So I say that to say, go to holohealth.com, HOLOHLTH, subscribe. We will help you upcoming things, but then also optimization is the goal, not prioritization.
I love the way you put that, Alex. It's super encouraging to hear, to listen. To anyone who is looking to learn more about these habits that we spoke on today, 7 of them that we believe are worth having, go check us out on Instagram at Holo Health, HOLOHLTH. We are constantly sharing thoughts, insights, tips, and value that we think will be super beneficial for you on these habits to help you live a truly healthy lifestyle. Alex, thanks for taking the time, sharing your insight, your expertise on these 7 habits that help you pursue a truly healthy lifestyle. I love getting to sit down with you and just crunch through conversations. They're so much fun. and getting to bring this vision to life is a joy. Listeners, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. Take these 7 habits away, sit on them, go check out the website, Instagram to learn more, and we hope you have a blessed day. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Holo Health Podcast. If you found this conversation interesting, we would love for you to share it with a friend. Additionally, we want to invite you into the Holo Health community. And the first place to get plugged in is on our Instagram at Holo Health. Remember, you are more than just physical, so make sure you treat your health that way. We appreciate you more than you know and hope you have a blessed day.